Hi everyone! Welcome to my cooking channel Japanese Food at Home. I'm Chef Reina from Japan. This time, I'm gonna show you how to make chocolate mochi. In Japan, it is customary to give chocolate-flavored sweets to sweethearts, friends, and family on Valentine's Day. In general, traditional Japanese confectionery rarely has a chocolate flavor, but I've come up with a recipe for chocolate mochi so that everyone watching this channel can enjoy chocolate-flavored Japanese confectionery to celebrate Valentine's Day. Okay then, let's check the ingredient list. For the mochi dough, you need shiratamako, joshinko, pure cocoa powder, water, sugar, and salt. If you want to know more about shiratamako and joshinko, please check my earlier video on kashiwa mochi. The chocolate mochi will be stuffed with two types of chocolate-flavored filling, ganache and whipped cream. For the ganache, you need milk chocolate or your choice of chocolate and heavy cream. For the whipped cream, you need heavy cream, chocolate sauce, and sugar. There are various chocolate sauce products, and each has different sweetness and flavor intensity, so the quantity can vary. To dust the mochi dough, you need potato starch and pure cocoa powder. So now, let's start by preparing the ganache. Ganache is a mixture of chocolate and cream. First, break the chocolate into small pieces by hand so it will melt in a shorter time. You can also chop it with a knife if you want to. Next, pour in the heavy cream. We're gonna melt the chocolate in a hot water bath. Place a frying pan on the cooktop and put a clean towel in it. Then pour in some water. Place the bowl of chocolate and cream on the towel, then turn on the heat to the lowest heat. As you may already know, chocolate becomes grainy when heated at too high temperatures, so you should heat it gradually with a low heat and make sure not to let the water boil. If you use a gas stove, the base of the pan can be too hot even over the lowest heat, so you should place a towel between the pan and the bowl. It also prevents the bowl from moving around unnecessarily. When the chocolate is soft enough, stir well until the chocolate and cream are emulsified. You don't want to generate bubbles in the mixture, so stir gently. Next, discard the hot water from the pan and pour in cold water instead to arrest the heating process. Place the bowl in it to cool the mixture. When it reaches room temperature, wipe off the bottom of the bowl with a towel, then stick it in the fridge for 20 minutes or so. When the mixture becomes thicker like this, transfer it into a piping bag. Let's use a measuring glass to work smoothly. Let it stand on the counter and fit the piping bag in it. Open the bag and fill it with the ganache. Remove the bag from the glass and keep it in the fridge until ready to use. Next, work on the chocolate whipped cream. The most basic way uses melted real chocolate combined with cream, but it takes time and requires a bit of care and skill to achieve a smooth, non-grainy cream. So for today, I'm going to show you an easier way. This is heavy cream in a mixing bowl, and then add store-bought chocolate sauce, followed by some sugar. As I mentioned earlier, the sweetness and flavor intensity differs from product to product, so please adjust the taste accordingly. Here are some tips. Generally speaking, taste buds perceive flavors differently depending on the temperature. Sweetness tastes stronger at warmer temperatures, around body temperature, but is increasingly weaker at colder temperatures. Since chocolate mochi is to be served cold, it's better to make the cream a little sweeter than your ideal. After stirring the mixture well, it's time to whip. When the cream has reached the stiff peak stage, stop whipping and transfer it into another piping bag in the same way as the ganache. So now, we're gonna freeze the filling so that we can wrap it in the mochi dough. Place a cup on the counter and line the inside with cling film. The diameter of the cup should be 6 centimeters or larger. Take out the chocolate whipped cream piping bag from the fridge and cut off the tip. Then swirl the cream in the cup, from the center outward, from the bottom upward, along the shape of the cup as if you were making a smaller cup with the cream. After that, bring the ganache piping bag and fill the center hollow with the ganache. Finally, cover the top of the ganache with a bit of additional whipped cream and close the cling film so that the filling becomes spherical. Repeat this process so you have 6 portions of the filling. When the cream or ganache in the piping bag is getting low and you find it difficult to squeeze it smoothly, unfold the bag and stretch the wrinkles, then lay it flat on the counter. Using a dough scraper, collect the residual cream or ganache towards the tip. This way, you can handle the piping bag more easily. When the 6 portions are ready, stick them in the freezer until set. Next, work on the mochi dough. This time, we're going to cook it in a pot, so let's combine the ingredients directly in the pot. I recommend the non-stick type for easy cleanup. Put the shiratamako, joshinko, and cocoa powder in, and mix well with a rubber spatula. Pour in half of the water, and mix well until it becomes a smooth paste, mashing up the grains sufficiently. This process requires you to work hard, so you may want to place a no-slip mat or a wet towel underneath. Once you are sure there are no grains left, dilute the paste with the rest of the water into a liquid. Before you start cooking the dough, place the sugar and salt in the same cup so you'll be able to add them together to the dough in a later process. As for the potato starch and cocoa powder for dusting the dough, you don't have to measure them out exactly. Just combine them in about the same amount using a tablespoon. So now let's cook the dough. Put the pot over high heat and continuously stir well, just like you would scrape the base with a spatula. It's starting to gelatinize, can you see? When almost the entire dough is gelatinized, turn the heat to low and keep on stirring. Once the dough comes together in a lump, add 1/3 of the sugar and salt and mix in. The dough comes apart, but it'll come together again if you keep mixing. When the sugar and salt are completely incorporated, add another third and mix in. And here is the last third. Alright, the dough is ready. So now we're gonna divide the dough and roll it out. As this is very sticky, you need to dust the surface well. Spread half of the mixture of potato starch and cocoa powder in a sheet pan or a shallow dish, then place the dough on top of it. Sprinkle the rest of the powder over the dough and dust the surface entirely so that you can easily handle it. Divide the dough into 6 equal portions. Lay one of them on a cutting board or counter and using a rolling pin, roll it out into a 10 to 11 centimeters round shape, that is about a 4-inch round shape. The trick to rolling out the dough evenly into a neat round shape is to roll the pin only on the front half while rotating the dough little by little. This is the same technique as rolling out dumpling wrappers. When the dough seems to stick to the rolling pin, dust it well again. Repeat this process for the rest of the dough, and you can stack up all the pieces as long as they are dusted well. Now it's time to wrap the filling in the mochi dough. Take one of the mochi dough pieces and check for a smoother surface that should be on the outside of the final product. As a rougher surface should be inside, brush off the excess powder so it will stick to the filling. Bring a portion of the filling out of the freezer and empty the cup. Line the cup with the mochi dough with the rougher surface facing up. Peel the cling film of the chocolate whipped cream and place the filling in the center of the dough. Fold it and close the seam by pinching with your fingertips. Dust the surface if needed so the mochi won't stick to anywhere. Lastly, flip the cup over to a mold, then adjust the shape as needed. And brush off the excess powder. Arrange the mochi in a Tupperware container lined with parchment paper, cover with the lid, and store in the freezer. Alright, this is how to make chocolate mochi. Defrost it in the fridge or at room temperature before you eat it. Personally speaking, I think the filling tastes best when it's semi-thawed rather than fully thawed, but it's up to you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day with my delicious chocolate mochi. See you next time!